So we are still in the book, Speak Out Pre-Intermediate. Now before anything else, I would like to ask you a few questions. So you can pause the video so that you will have time to answer my questions, okay? So question 1. What do you think are the things you must do to improve your English skill? Alright, and question 2. Do you do those things? Okay, so after answering those questions, we are now going to continue with today's chapter. It is 4.3 and the title for this chapter is What Should I Do? Okay, what should I do? It's about a chapter for giving advices. Right, so if you have your book with you, you can open it up and try to follow us with today's review. Okay, so you can open on page 42. Alright, so today's vocabulary is about language learning. Now I have these sentences here, and let's try to practice reading and try to find out the meaning of it, right? So in your book, that is actually vocabulary 2A on page 42, alright? So the first sentence is, I reread articles we use in class. Okay, so the meaning is letter B. Okay, it's letter B in your book, and I'll try to read letter B. Read again. Yes, okay, that's the meaning. So I try to read articles, reread articles we use in class, so I read again. You need to review every time you read a new word, or especially like a new lesson. You need to read and read and read until you understand. Okay, so next one. I look up the new words in a dictionary. Okay, so that is letter A, okay, in your book, and it means find information in a book or on a computer. Okay, of course, every time you learn a new word or expression or phrase and you don't understand it, you need to search it. Look up new words. Okay, you need to search it, or you need to try to read a lot and then try to learn new words every time. Okay, and don't forget to write it down. Okay, or try to type it down so that you will not forget. All right, next one is I watch films with subtitles. Okay, so watching English films, that is letter E. Okay, words on a film which translate what a character says. Okay, so of course those are subtitles. Okay, so if you don't understand, of course you need to have subtitles, right, in your own language. So it's good for your listening, but my advice is, of course, you need to watch it without subtitles, of course. Okay, at first you will not understand, but try to watch and watch and watch. Repeat it again until you understand, until you get used to listening and speaking English. One good thing as well is try to imitate or try to mimic, try to follow what they're saying and how do they pronounce words and how do they say it. Okay, so try to follow it. All right. So next one. I visit English websites to read the news. Okay, so that is letter G. Spend time in a place or a website. Okay, of course you need to read in English. Okay, read the news, read something, read articles, and if you learn new words, again, don't forget to write it down in your notebook, right? Okay, next one. I chat to other learners. Okay, try to interact with other people. All right, so that is letter C. Okay, talk on the internet. Okay, so yes, the internet is a great place for you to practice English, because you know, if you don't have anybody to talk to in English, right, you can always go to the internet and try to make friends. Okay, chat with people there. Of course, use English, practice, right? Okay, next one is number 6. I practice grammar on the internet. Okay, one way to practice grammar is on the internet. All right, so that is letter F. Do something regularly to improve your skill. Okay, so practice, practice, practice. All right. So try to yes, again, try to chat with other learners and try to read the grammar, how they talk, and then you can try to follow it. So try to learn grammar on the internet as well. Okay. Next is I listen to English songs and I try to memorize them. Okay, so listening to English songs is always good and try to memorize them. It's easier to memorize because there's a rhythm to it, right? Especially if you like music, it's easier to learn English. So that is letter D, study until you remember, right? So always try to listen, practice, sing, memorize. Okay, memorize them. Okay, so those are good advices for you to improve your English skills. I hope you can try to follow them, right? And now we are going to read again. You can listen to my pronunciation and you can try to read after me or you can read with me. Okay, so let's start. I reread the articles we use in class. I look up new words in a dictionary. I watch films with subtitles. I visit English websites to read the news. I chat to other learners. I practice grammar on the internet. I listen to English songs and I try to memorize them. Okay? So those are the advices, and again, if you want, you can pause the video and rewind if you want to practice more on reading, right? So now let's continue with part 2 of today's chapter, learn to, okay? It is learn to respond to advice, okay? If somebody is giving you advice, how do you usually respond, right? So usually, right, okay, right? So these are the common ways. Okay, so that's a good idea. Okay, if you agree with them, that's a good idea. Right, that's right, that's a good idea. You're right. Okay, you're right. Next one, I suppose so. That means you also agree. You agree with them. I suppose so. That's a good idea. Like that, right? And if you're not sure, of course, I'm not sure that's a good idea. If you don't agree, I'm not sure it's a good idea. I don't know. You can say, I don't know, right? Or you can actually add, that's a good idea. I'll try to do that. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your advice. Like that, okay? So, again, be natural, right? Responding to advice is always good to acknowledge the speaker. You're right. That's a good idea, right? So you always acknowledge them so that, yes, it will be a good conversation. Okay, so yes, that's it for today. And before I let you go, I want to ask you a few questions. Okay, so question 1, when was the last time you gave an advice to your friend? And question 2, what was it about? Okay, so you can comment your answers below, or you can tell me your answers personally by visiting me here in Royal English. Okay, so again, my name is Mark and I'll see you in the Thank you.